Coming up on this week's Towncast Pembroke, we will be looking at road closures. There's loads of them. We'll be talking about Longcourse, and of course, there's the all-important cricket scores. We couldn't beat them without those. Lots to get on with. Come and join us. Welcome back to this week's Towncast Pembroke. And first of all, before we do all the usual stuff and get involved in all of that, I just wanted to say a big thank you for everyone that got involved in the conversation from last week. It is about having a conversation. If you haven't seen last week's episode, it was about how do you bring people into the town centre by closing off driving for a certain point of the day, making it pedestrian. And loads of different viewpoints. What I would say is, for everyone that says you can't walk up a hill, there are 2, possibly 3 car parks on street level, and everything else that everybody put in there can be overcome. What we need to decide is, as a town, if that was to happen, how would we maximize the benefits? How would we do it? So just to say thank you again. It's a conversation. Loads of people on that conversation as well, being very very level-headed, which is great for social media, because social media is not a great place for level-headed people. You get shouted down an awful lot on there. But just to have people going, well, hang on, let's talk it through. What could we do? What would work? What wouldn't work? A couple of other suggestions coming in there, which is fantastic. And more of that we need. We need to get more of us involved in the town, more of us involved in the town council, holding people to account, putting suggestions forward, organising events, all of those kind of things. We need to be more involved in. So big thank you to everyone that got involved last week. This week, nowhere near as controversial. But thank you for everyone for last week on that. So I'm going to start with road closures, this, that, and the other. Okay, so first one is kind of out of town. It's the sort of Kilgetty roundabout to St Clair's roundabout, basically being returfed for a week. So starting on the 16th and going through to 21st, closed overnight both ways from 7 in the night to 6 in the morning. That's an early close off for a nighttime work. And then through the day, it's single line both ways as well. So there's a lot of work going on there. I'm assuming it is going to go from one end to the other. But so there's full time, the whole road is closed 7 p.m. till 6 a.m. If that's going to be, if you're thinking about traveling anywhere east this week, there's also a lot of roadworks going on. M4, there's roadworks starting this week around Carmarthen as well, where they're strengthening bridges and returfing roads. It's not a great week to be going left to right or right to left in our neck of the woods. So just add some extra time. Can't do anything about it, just the way it is. So let's add some time. And when you think you've added some time, add some extra time and just chill in the car. So, main one, Kilgetty roundabout to St Clair's roundabout this week. Okay, so we'll talk about Longcourse closures in a minute. So roadworks in town. So we pretty much finished the Holyland Road section. We're just at that last bit by the bridge, and work on Goose's Lane as well. So here's a little video I made. This is made on Saturday night, so the 14th. So from what I can see, the starting end, the length that goes up Holyland Road, that's not going to close off for a while. There's still a bit of work there to do. So I can see it kind of creeping more up towards the railway bridge. But this is the video I made on Saturday night, the 14th.
Okay, so traffic lights have moved along quite a fair bit now, so we're kind of at the end of Holyland Road, just under the railway bridge now, so we're just gonna go through this one, see how long it takes and see where we are in town. Okay, so right at the far end, you can see the guys have actually done a really good job, and in all honesty, this hasn't taken too long, but you can see right there, just a little swerve where that car's come through there. You can see that it's a little bit, it does slow people up, might not necessarily be a bad thing, space there for residents to park, but this is where it's gone out, so that's already been filled in, ready for next week, but you can see there's lines there ready to cut for next week on that. So that's the first bit of the traffic lights. So that's probably the biggest issue, is the machinery, getting the machinery around. But you can see as you go down there, well, there's not much room, there's not much work going on. So this is the other part of the roadworks where we are down the bottom of Goose's Lane now, walking up Goose's Lane, and you see it goes right the way to the top. So minimal impact on everybody, but you can see just how many are being done at the same time, and then that will go right the way up to the top and then through Main Street when we get there. Then as you get to the top of the hill, that's the only real problem at the minute. It is unfortunately right in the middle of the car park, so can't be avoided, will be done as soon as possible.
So as you can see there, you see what I mean about there's work still going on at that very, very far end. Again, you know, and I've said this pretty much every week that we've been doing this. The cars flying through there like it's, I don't know, it's like, you can see that end bit is very much a chicane kind of a place, and everything from there down to Holyland Woods, still a 20 for a reason. You know, just have a word with yourself, because you're just making it dangerous there. And particularly in this bit, I've seen people jump in that red again, and it just causes havoc. Just have a bit of patience on there. So maybe another time I'll explain a theory, a mental theory about how you just kind of control things. It's called a gravity problem. You can't control gravity. What can you control? Those kind of things. But we'll go through that in a bit more detail. So that's the roadworks. Couple of other bits and bobs to look at. Leisure Centre Gym is going to be closed this week as well. I know it's not roadworks, but that's going through a refurb this week. So if you're an occasional gym user, you might not be bang up to date on that. I think the rest of the leisure centre is open, but the gym is going through its refit. I think all the gyms in Pembrokeshire County Council area are going under refit this week. So that'll be interesting to see what comes out of that. So we're going to have a look at Longcourse in a second, but before we do, so just wanted to share a little bit of a few tips. If you're posting about an event, if you're a pub or a group or a club or any of those kinds of things, and you're posting on Facebook, and hoping that that's going to share your event. Okay, you've got an event, barbecue, charity barbecue, whatever it is. Okay, so a couple of hints and tips for you that will help other people find your event. Okay, so when you save your event poster, yeah, you've got your event poster. When you save it with a name that says Pembroke an event. Yeah, save it like that flags it up on the algorithm, and anytime anyone searches for Pembroke or events, that will come up. Okay, that will come up because they prioritize images first, same as Google does. That will pop up it comes. If you're still trying to run your business on a personal page, okay, it's not going to work for you because you can't share it wide enough, and you have to make direct connections with individuals. So create a business page, don't have to pay for it, but that then lets all sorts of people have access to it. And again, hashtag Pembroke events, bits like that just helps lots of people to see what you're doing and how you're doing it, and you'll see your algorithm will change quickly to start with, and then it will level out, but it'll take you up another level on that. So that's just a couple of hints and tips, because when I'm trying to find events that are on in the town, we still work very much on word of mouth, which is great. Love word of mouth, but you're only gonna, there are about 10,000 people in Pembroke. Word of mouth might reach about 200 of them. If it's done really, really well, you could reach a whole, 20,000, 30,000 people. You could reach people in Tenby, Haverfordwest, and say, yeah, I've got an event, come to it. So just be aware of that if you are posting on Facebook with your event. So, okay, let's have a little look now at Longcourse. Okay, so this comes around every year, same as same as Ironman does. So I'm going to share the Longcourse road closures for you for this week. Okay. So not this weekend, sorry, for the weekend after. So this is June 28th, 29th. So 28th is the cycle, 29th is the run. Okay, so I'm just going to show you where everything is on the website. So if you go to the easiest way to go to it, the actual website is called Wales Sportive, I think it's called, something like that. There we go. The walesportive.com will take you to the main page. This is the main page. Go to road closures on there. You can do closures by town. Okay, that'll give you, but it does segregate. It keeps like Pembroke and Angle separate and things like that. So I'm just going to look at it as an overview. That's the main one that will that's the big route, if you like, which is a little bit confusing, to be honest. That's the Saturday one. So if I go to closures by town, see there you can see you can kind of split it down a little bit more. I'm just going to go to Pembroke, and that will give us a little bit more information. So this is for the Saturday, okay? So that pretty much covers most of what we've got on there. So Upper Lamphey Road. Is that the Upper Lamphey? Yeah, that's Upper Lamphey there, isn't it? Yeah, and that's Main Street there. No, that's the Upper Lamphey Road, because that's the road to Fresh East there. So out this way, that's the Lamphey Road that goes out to Milton. So that's closed from 7:30 until 1. We've got Lamphey, the other side of Lamphey, if you like. That's closed from 5:30 until 1. One way, doesn't tell you which way though, doesn't help on there. You've then got, that's the Upper Lamphey Road there into Pembroke, down through Well Hill, cross the Commons, up St Daniel's, and then out towards Castle Martin. So that's closed from 6 until 11. You've also 6 until 10. You've got the road that comes now. That point there, I'm sure, is so that's the Hundleton Road coming out here. And what's the pub called? Oh, on the point. Anyway, that goes out. That's the so it goes out past Castle Martin Camp and comes back in there. That's 6 till 10. And then the Angle route, well, the road out towards Angle, I call it the Angle route. That's the actual Angle route there. But you come out towards Angle and back through Fresh West, Castle Martin. So that's closed 6:30 until 11 as well. So, if you're heading anywhere, if you're coming from any of these places on Saturday morning, that's going to cause issues for you. If you're heading in towards Tenby as well, that's going to cause you issues. So do a little bit of research beforehand and understand, it's going to cause you a little bit of hassle on that one there. So just be prepared on that one. So, oh, there we go. But does this tell you? But no, it doesn't tell you which way that one-way road goes there. Okay, to worry. Let's have a look at the Sunday then. So the Sunday one tends to be a little bit less stressful because so looking at Sunday then, which is the marathon and the half marathon. So yeah, they usually run the two, don't they? So here we are in Pembroke there. Just so you can see that Fresh East, right out of Hodgson, Lamphey, it's there's impacts in all sorts of places. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to have a little bit more of a had it there, didn't I? I'm going to have a little bit more look by Pembroke specifically, just to kind of focus on that. So let me just drag my screen down for a second there. That's if you're listening on audio, then go to lcwwales.com and look at the road closures on there. But just looking at the roads, I'll do my best to describe what roads are going to be closed at what times. Unfortunately, this isn't the best map. That overall map is a bit better. So we've got the Lower Lamphey Road, the route that is being used. Lower Lamphey Road comes in to Well Hill, up to the roundabout, and then goes into the castle. Now, I think that comes across Main Street, so it goes the wrong way around Main Street. It then comes back across Mill Pond and out to around the back and out to the green, because there isn't a link there between those two places. I know sometimes it goes over the pond and around the back into the green, but this looks like they're going back across the Mill Pond again, over the little footbridge, round the back, and then heading out again on a back road. I don't know what you call that road. Jack Scones Lane is the Golden Lane. There it is. Look, Golden Lane. So it goes out round the back through Golden Lane. This is where the issues always happen, which is on the main road out of town, which essentially the run will cross that road. Now, when you look at the main sheet, it says that the Holyland Road is closed from the town centre, so from the roundabout all the way out to the finger post with one-way traffic only, and that one-way traffic is out. So that's a load of rubbish, because if you live anywhere along Holyland Road, and there are a couple of estates along there as well, then you need to get back in. So there is usually manned control around that location there, but numerous people have had arguments with marshals on that bit there. People will park. That crossing there seems to be a place where people like to just go and watch, but it's still a road. So it's always a point of conflict. It isn't managed very well. Hopefully this year they will have learned from previous years, but that is the one bit that I know causes issues. So yeah, again, this map isn't great. We've got green lines in certain places and red lines in other places, and dots, whether it comes down the commons and then goes round. Does that go round the back of the castle? You see there's a little dotted road there. Nope, because that comes up to the again, and I think this is probably why so I'm going to stop sharing now. This is probably why Longcourse has the issues that Ironman doesn't, because it isn't very well communicated and it isn't very well managed. In all honesty, with that. So, but that's where the information is. If you search Longcourse Wales or Wales Sportive or Wales Marathon, all of those are all the same website. They'll bring you to the same place, and you can look at road closures there. I urge you to go and be prepared, because yeah, it can be a bit of a pain, that one, particularly on the Saturday. It's a lot better than when there wasn't any road closures and they just let them go on the roads, and there'd be 200 and 300 people on bikes, and you're trying to get to Tesco shopping, and it was an absolute nightmare. So at least now the road is closed off, and that's that. Okay. So, okay, let's move on to a little bit of the chatty bit. So chatty bit kind of follows on again from the long course because that's an event. And if you look at long course and you look at Ironman, neither of those events do anything for Pembroke at all. Yeah. Even I don't know if they're running half marathon this year. I'm assuming they're going to run half marathon. It starts in Pembroke, doesn't do anything for Pembroke, and we don't put on an event. It's literally, here's a start line, turn up there, on your marks, get set, go, or bike in, whizzy round, turn it right, back off, and everyone celebrates in Tenby, and everyone spends their money in Tenby, and everything's done in Tenby. Our taxpayer money is supporting this. You know, our taxpayer money supports long course. Our taxpayer money supports Ironman, and all of that goes into Tenby. All of the benefit from that is received in Tenby. And I'm thinking we should be doing something for ourselves in Pembroke. We should be having an event or a series of events on days and focusing on Pembroke. So we bring people into the town centre. We go, right, let's bring people in and sit them in the town centre and go, here's an event. Now go buy food over there, go get drinks from there. While you're having a mosey round, look at this shop here, look at that shop there. Did you know that we do this in the town centre? Yeah. Until we start bringing people back into the town centre, we give them a reason to come into the town centre. Kind of as discussed last week, it's a need to visit place at the minute. And when it's a need to visit, you're very much limited on what you spend money on in the town centre. Okay. So my thought this week, okay, and you'll get used to me having thoughts. No, normally, so I say I run a whole load of rugby podcasts, and I'll have a chat with some of my boys, and I'll go, boys, I've had a thought. And there are two reactions. There's, oh no, we're going to change something, and this is going to be a pain in the backside. And then there's a second thought that goes, but actually, every time we've done this in the past, it's worked. So, you know, I think big. I don't see any point in doing small things unless you're prepared to grow them. Yeah, which is what my podcasts are, which is the point of this podcast. The point of this podcast is to show everybody else around, people in Tenby, Saundersfoot, Haverford, West Milford, that we can do this, join the network. Lovely jubbly. Okay, so if we're going to do something, let's do something big. Let's have a town event, whether that's on Bank Holiday, May Day, August Bank Holiday, whatever it is, let's have a town running event. We have virtually a perfect running track with a couple of ups and downs and bumps and whatever. But if you look at the shape of the town, you can go through Main Street, down Well Hill, across the Commons, and back up. And if you're a young driver, then yes, you will be treating that as a racetrack, and yes, you do deserve what you get from the police on that. So, but we could use that as a running track, and we could run a variety of races through the day. You could start by the castle, along Main Street, and you would finish kind of in that, or maybe start halfway across. I quite like the idea of that last run, that last bit being up Castle Hill. I think that as a runner, that is a really hefty challenge. You've done all the easy bit, and you know the last bit is the really, really difficult bit, and it's the last 100 meters, for example. So, that for me works as an environment that where you can put an event on. So we could do things like the parent and child race. We just do one lap round. You could do, you could do the charity. So I had this idea where you could do like a charity race where you just have people in fancy dress, but you would promote it and you would say, look, bring your spare coins for charity, because the charity race is won by whoever collects the most money on the way round. Yeah. So they all get a bucket, and they'd all be in stupid fancy dresses, and you might do it. Yeah, you might be a banana, you might be a rhinoceros or whatever, but you'd be carrying your bucket, and then you'd go all the way around, and whoever's got the most money at the end, lovely. You could do a fun kind of team race where there's four. Imagine, you remember when we used to do stuff on the castle pond, where you would build yourself a boat, your floating thing. So you could do something similar around the town where four of you would carry something, so it would be a team race, but you're all kind of bound together and things like that. There's lots of different things you could do, and then you would finish the day with the serious race, and that might be 2 laps, 3 laps, might be 10 laps. You might do a short one where it is the sprint. You might do a longer one. I don't know how long it would be. It's not 1 lap. I guess you'd need to do probably 5 laps for a 5K. No, maybe, I don't know. I don't know. But let's have a look. Let's see what's what. You could then do, so your Main Street would then be closed, and you could do various things along Main Street. You could do, pubs could have bands playing out the front, and restaurants could have their little pop-ups at the front. You could then have various vans, but people could come out and see, and you would make a day of it. You could do stuff down on the commons. You could have the meeting area, if you like, would be on the commons, but you could then have mini fairground down the commons, whatever. Yeah, but you could have stalls down on the commons. Not on the car park area. We talk about on the grass area, car park area, be for people bringing in. You might have to keep Well Hill open, so you might have to go down Goose's Lane and then maybe keep Well Hill to St Daniel's open, so you might go across Goose's Lane. What I'm saying is it's there's things you can do. So I just think we need an event. We, as the town of Pembroke, need an event where we say, right, okay, you've done Ironman or whatever. Yeah, well, come and look at what we're doing in Pembroke. Come and spend your money in Pembroke, in the town of Pembroke. Let's get people that are sitting at home and not venturing into the main street, and they'll drive through and then they'll go home and then they'll drive back. And let's get them out the cars. Let's get them walking through Main Street and show them what shops we've got. Let's do something for our town. We're quite happy for 3 nights in, 4 nights after setup in October, to invite the fair in and just say, here's a load of cash of ours, go and take it and go somewhere else with it. We will quite happily do that, because we think that's an event. That's an event where we give our money and we filter money out of our local economy into somebody else's pocket. Very little of that comes in and stays in Pembroke. So let's do something where we bring and we create our own event and we do something in Pembroke for the benefit of Pembroke. And we say to people, come, this could be something good. And it may be something that we have to start small and then build and build and build and build. But I'm up for that. I'm not up for doing the running because between my knees and my back and my neck and my shoulder and my ankle and various other bits and bobs, yeah, just running ain't gonna be part of it for me. But I know a whole load of people that would love doing that kind of stuff. So can we do it? Can we get enough people together and go, do you know what? Maybe not this year again, maybe next year. Take a bit of planning, getting road closures in place, pain in the backside, getting marshals in place, pain in the backside, getting people on board, talking to people in the town, pain in the backside, but can be done. It can absolutely be done if we get enough people on board. So if you fancy doing something like that, message below. Put the comment on my YouTube channel because I don't always see all of the comments on the various Facebook pages that that I share it to. So either on the Towncast wrong side. There we go. Where am I going there? Either on the Towncast Facebook page or on the YouTube. On the YouTube channel is better because that shows up straight away. So if you fancy it, let's get involved because well, what have we got to lose? Well, seriously, what have we got to lose by putting an event on in our town centre? So we start it going really small. We get a couple of sponsors on board, and we go. Once we've got the sponsors on board, we go right. Okay, we can cover all of our costs. Bang! Let's go do it. And then any income that you get from that goes to pay for the following year, and the following year is a little bit bigger until you're in that bit where you go, hey, great. Do you know what? We're in a position where we can quite comfortably put this on year on year on year, and we've got money left over. Let's look at, can we pay somebody to tidy up Mill Pond? Can we put some flowers, some wildflowers down across Mill Pond? Can we support some local projects? Can we, do you know what I mean? It can be done and it can really become a thing that people want to come to Pembroke for. It'll be a date in the diary, whether it's August bank holiday. Do you know what? On August bank holiday, this is where you want to go. You want to go to Pembroke because bang, this is what happens. Or May Day bank holiday, or whenever it is, Whitsun bank holiday. Nothing ever happens on Whitsun bank holiday because it's so random and differently dated. But you go Whitsun bank holiday, Pembroke Main Street. So let's create something. If you want to be involved, stick your name below or message me on Facebook or send me an email on ilovetowncast@gmail.com and let's get some stuff going. So while I'm talking about the email, if you're liking what you're seeing, what you're hearing, please do subscribe to us on our YouTube channel and share us on our socials, like our Facebook page, all of that kind of stuff. More importantly, okay, two bits here now. If I've had a couple of people after last week's episode message me and have a couple of chats, really liking what we're doing, liking the positivity, liking the idea that we're bringing ideas forward. Not so certain about coming on the pod. It's coming on the pod, presenting with me on the pod is actually really, really easy. Okay, so if you fancy it, if you just want to give a go, if you think, oh, I might be able to do it, I might not be able to do it, we can run a dummy one. We don't have to publish it. Okay. But I'm up for that. If you want to come and join me, be part of this pod, be part of talking positively about Pembroke, then message me, ilovetowncast@gmail.com, or message me on the Facebook page. And the other bit then is we would really like to spread this around the county. I say Tenby, Milford, Haverfordwest, Fishguard, St David's, Crymych. Let's make this a thing. So if you're listening to this from another town and you think, all right, okay, I kind of like what the idea of it, the principle of it, and could work in my town. Again, drop me a line. Let's get stuff going. Because this is what I want to do. It's about promoting Pembrokeshire to Pembrokeshire people, and let's do some good. Let's do some positive stuff with that. Okay, there's my little pitch over. Let's have a look at the sports desk. Okay, so sports desk is mainly cricket again. By all means, if there are other sports that are going on, golf, netball, all of that, then by all means, get in touch. We'd love to talk to you about your sport. So, looking at Division One cricket last week, say we don't have any real interest in that, but it is good to just know where people are. Cruselli and Kiru played last weekend. Cruselli beat Kiru. So that is what the Division One table looks like at the minute. That's really good for local sides on that. So Division Two. Division Two. This is where it gets interesting for us. Okay. So where are we? Here we go. Here we go. Pembroke beat Kiru seconds. Now, not only did Pembroke beat Kiru seconds, okay, look at that score 245 for 7, and then Kiru were bowled out for 49. You know, if you're going to make a statement, you put nearly 250 on the board and then you bowl your position out without 50 on the board. That is huge. That is a huge win for Pembroke. So let's see where that leaves us in the table. We're back up to third. Yeah, I think we were third before, weren't we? We were first, second. Yeah, we third is roughly where we are. Okay. We are 6 points off second. Now that is nothing in cricket. That is literally nothing. One game swing, 2 games, and we're up there with Narberth. I'll be honest, Narberth have been playing some excellent cricket so far this year. They've only lost 1 game. Pembroke lost 3, but it's there. That is absolutely within our reach. Okay. This week's game is at home to Llanryan. Llanryan, second from bottom in the table, only won 1 game. So you're looking at that and you're thinking, do you know what? That's a good opportunity. With a bit of luck, it'll be a dry wicket. If we can have a dry week, bake the wicket, make it nice and hard, a nice batting wicket. Let's bat first. Let's put some big scores on the table. Let's rack up the batting points like we did last week. And we're looking good. We're looking good for top of the table kind of battles at the end of the season. So that's a good start to this week's review. Let's have a look at Division 3 then. So last weekend, so this is 14th of June, by the way, on that. So Hundleton beat Larne, quite a tight game. Larne 114 and Hundleton passed that for 3 wickets. Neyland lost to Lamphy, which is an excellent result for Lamphy. So Neyland seconds lost to Lamphy. Lamphy posted 156 for 5, bowled Neyland out for 104. And then Stackpole beat Haverfordwest seconds. Again, so bowling Haverfordwest out for 78 and then passing that for the loss of 8 wickets. So, yeah, that looks like a bit of an iffy wicket there if you can only post 78 runs and 79 for it. But you play what you play and you take what you take. So where does that leave everyone in the table? Well, Hundleton are in third on 124 points, chasing down the Dock. So the Dock beat Fishguard last weekend as well. So that top half of the table is looking really good. Stackpole still in touch on fourth. So Hundleton in third on 124 points. Stackpole in fourth on 113. Lamphy in fifth on 98. Now, I'd say probably between Hundleton and Lamphy, that's probably too much to overcome. But certainly Stackpole could overcome Lamphy, and Stackpole could overcome Hundleton, and Lamphy could overcome Stackpole. It's kind of balanced between the 3 of them, but it's good to have 3 local sides in that kind of top bit of the table, and if you really want to be local, Pembroke Dock is a local side as well. So that's a good table for us there. Yeah, let's have a look at fixtures for this weekend. So Hundleton are away in Fishguard. So Fishguard lost to the Dock last weekend. If Hundleton can turn them over this weekend, that is a massive, massive win for Hundleton. And it's doable. It's definitely doable on that one. So best of luck to the boys travelling to Fishguard this weekend. This is the game of the week for us here. Lamphy against Stackpole. Now, there was a time in the past where this would have been a Division 1 fixture. This would have been top of the table sort of a thing. So, yeah, loving the fact that Lamphy and Stackpole are playing each other again. It's going to be a belter. It's which it doesn't matter. This could be Division 7. Division 7 doesn't exist anymore, but this could be, a Division 7 game, and it would still be tasty. So Lamphy and Stackpole this weekend as well, and Hundleton travel to Fishguard on that one. Okay, Division 4. This is where we start looking at the second teams. So, loads of games called off in Division 4 last week, mainly because of the weather, I think, on that. So, Rennie seconds, Carew thirds. There we go. Pembroke seconds. This is what I'm looking for down the bottom here. So, St Ishmael's seconds, lost to Pembroke seconds. So, St Ishmael's all bowled out for 81. Pembroke seconds past that with 1 wicket, which is a cruise. The only disappointing thing on that is that if you bat, if you're going to bowl the opposition out for 81, then the maximum amount of bowling points you get is limited to what they score. So if you're in first, if you bat first and you put 200 on and then bowl them out for 81, you've given yourself a few extra batting points on that. But it is what it is. You can only beat what you can beat. It still puts Pembroke top of the table there on 143 points. 1 loss so far this year, which I think was against Saundersfoot seconds as well. But yeah, you can see there it's close. It's tight at the top of the table. But you're in pole position. When you're in pole position, you're there for everyone to shoot at. So let's take a look at who Pembroke seconds are playing this week away in Crymych. So Crymych are in third. Again, that could be a bit of a tasty one. They have lost 2 games this season. We've lost 1. So, yeah, that could be an interesting game, particularly away in Crymych. It's a newish wicket, a newish pitch when you compare to all the others. So, yeah, interesting to see how that game pans out. Let's have a look at Division 5. In Division 5, then, results for last week. Excuse me. So, Hundleton against Whitland was abandoned. Yeah, I think that's all we had going on in there, which is a real shame. So just a quick look at the table there. Bum, 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 bum. Yeah, third from bottom. Abandoned games are they're just a pain because nobody gains from them, and it's like because the way the cricket season works, it's not like you can play it midweek. It's not like you can add it on to the end of the season. There's very few weekends in the season where you can replay a game. So if it's rained off, it's rained off. So this week's game then, Hundleton second travel to Herbernston second. So yeah, that's going to be a tough call. That is a tough game. Herbie seconds are gunning for Leckered at the top of the table there, and Hundleton, we're not out of it. I'd say we're safe over Neyland thirds. But yeah, ideally we need to be a few places higher on that. Okay, Division 6, I don't think we've got any. Oh yeah, we've got Pembroke thirds in Division 6, haven't we? Yeah, all games abandoned last weekend. A fun time was had by all in the bar. Top of the table so far. But don't read too much into that because because the way Division 6 work, if you look at Leckered thirds, they've still only played 5 games. So they've got a few games to catch up. So you're not really going to know where this side sits until the end of the season. Lamphy seconds as well down the bottom here. Yeah, a little bit of work to do with Lamphy seconds down the bottom of the table. So games this week, this Haverfordwest Cresselly side against Pembroke thirds, and Lamphy seconds travel to Whitland to play their thirds as well on that. Okay, so that concludes our sports roundup for this week. So I say big thank you for conversation around last week. Let's keep the conversation going. Let's even today, I'm recording on Sunday on Fastest Day, but there were still comments going on that page today. So it's obviously something that's sparking a reaction. Let's talk about putting a day of, I don't know what you call it. I don't know, the one lap, the Pembroke lap, whatever. But if, like I say, if you're liking what you're hearing, please subscribe. If you want to be part of it, comments below. Let me know what you think about the Pembroke lap. All that's left to say now is have a great week. Let's do Pembroke proud. All the best.